Welcome to Lock N Load Podcast. My name is Josh, where we talk to you about Connecticut 2A issues. So today I want to talk to you guys about the ATF and our successful, perfect audit. And I'm actually really proud of my employees that I get to go and say that. And myself, I guess I will give myself a pat on the back here to go and say that, that we have our procedures in place, that we had zero violations. Which, if you're a gun store owner, an FFL, and there are stores out there that never get perfect scores, and to no fault of their own, human error with paperwork. But let's rewind and talk to you about our ATF experience. So the other day, Tuesday, I'm working, and about 11:30, agent walks in, and I recognize her from our second break-in. She was a trainee then about a year ago, and she came in. And I was talking to a customer and I finished up with him and I was like, ATF? And she's like, yep. And I'm like, audit? And she's like, yep. And I'm like, cool. And some of you are thinking, cool? Yeah, I'm okay with it. Like, A, it's legally what they have to do. B, I'd rather have it happen now than when I'm on a vacation or something. When I'm on vacation, I want to enjoy my vacation. I want to enjoy my time off. I want to take a break from here. When I'm here, I'm working. So why not? You know, we're here. So Tuesday, I normally work by myself here because it's a slower day. So I texted Brian to come in. And at this point now, actually giving out this podcast, Brian will be gone. Brian's last day is actually the day I'm filming this. And Brian is moving to Texas. So have fun in Texas, Brian. So I texted Brian to come in so Brian could help with customers so I could focus on anything that she needed to get done. And so on Tuesday, she asked a lot of questions, kind of figuring out what our standard operating procedures were, if we're doing stuff correctly, what happens, if, she gives a gun on consignment and I want the gun back the next day, kind of some questions and stuff. Run an FFL, you should know these answers. They're pretty simple stuff. It's pretty everyday activities, to be honest. And then copy of the bound book. So we use GunstoreMaster. I absolutely love GunstoreMaster. I wish I was getting paid to say that. If you guys want to sponsor me, hit us up. We've talked on the phone before, guys. We've talked at SHOT Show. I absolutely love GunstoreMaster. I would pay more if they charge more. I don't want to pay more, just as a heads up, but I do think it is worth every penny. So it's really easy to make the PDF book, and then I could print off like 400 pages of my bound book. Obviously we don't want to kill that much paper and ink, or trees. So she asked for a CSV file and Excel file. It took me a minute, but I figured it out. For anyone that has GunstoreMaster, and if you ever have to do this, any cloud-based system has to have a hard drive physical backup. It's part of the ATF requirement. So my main computer, it's a program you download and it backs up constantly to the hard drive. So you go into that program and then you can download a CSV file, so an Excel file, which worked out perfectly. So I emailed that over to her and then she did inventory. We made sure that everything that was supposed to be, that is in the bound book, was in the store. And we happen at that point to have 303 items in inventory, and we happen to have 303 items in the store. So perfect inventory. Why did I know we were going to have perfect inventory? We do audits every month here at Lock N Load, every single month. And I tell them that. I told them that, and I told the other ATF agent who showed up the next day when they did the paperwork. And I still feel like he didn't believe me because they get told this by stores all the time that, oh yeah, we do an audit all the time. But they don't do an actual good inventory audit. Our system in GunstoreMaster has an audit system in there where you go in, you click it, and then you go and scan every single gun in the store. And then when it scans it, it kind of like checks it off. And then at the end, when you're done, you're always going to be missing one or two things because, you missed it on a shelf or something, or maybe the barcode didn't scan. And then you go and find it and then you scan it and you finish it out and you close it out. That way, if you have anything missing, well, I had it in the last 30 days because we do this religiously in the beginning of every single month. Normally the first week of every month, not like the first day, but the first week of every month, we get it done. In the state of Connecticut, it is required by October 1st that it must be done. That is a new part of HB 6667 that passed, but we do ours monthly. And that way we find any issues or mistakes or misplacements that happen right away. So I knew like all my inventory was here because it was here 30 days ago, 29 days ago, whenever it was. And if it wasn't here, well, it's probably easy enough to remember where it was or what happened to it. So got that completed. And then they said they were going to pull out the last 12 months of paperwork. So the next day I came in a little early and brought it over to my classroom side and pulled out the last like 13 months. I didn't know if they wanted exactly 12. So I went from July, because we were in July, to July of 2024. So it was about 13 months because both Julys were included, and laid it out for them in chronological order. And I was like, here you go. And talked to the other ATF agent that showed up with her, and they started going through paperwork. They did focus a lot on the cancellations or denials. I did notice that. So we have that in a separate folder because they require. And then they just started going through the paperwork and going through it, and everything. Again, we do electronic paperwork here. So your 4473 is that federal paperwork, the packet that you fill out is all done electronically. So when they're reading these things, they're reading typed paperwork. They're not reading scribbles, they're not reading, somebody's horrible doctor handwriting. They're reading typed paperwork. So it makes life a lot easier on their end and my end. So Wednesday rolls through, Thursday rolls around. I had a meeting in the morning, so I told them I wouldn't be here Thursday morning, but I would get here, around, I thought I was going to be here around 11, ended up being around 12. Got here around 12 o'clock, and they were done in the afternoon. We did a closing conference, I'll call it. 0 violations, which is astounding. Again, so proud of my guys, proud of our office manager for double checking all the paperwork. It's proud of our systems, proud of our standard operating procedures to have 0 violations. And I know like some of you are thinking, well, yeah, you're a gun store, you shouldn't have any problems, but like we're all humans, right? We make human mistakes, right? We forget to cross a T, we forget to dot an I, maybe we transpose a number, flip a 1 and a 0, right? Everyone makes mistakes like that. And to have nothing like that is really good. And I am really proud of it because it's something that I want. Like that was my goal here. Is I really wanted 0 violations. I didn't want any issues. I wanted a perfect score. That was my goal since day one, was that. Back in April, we had the NSSF come in, National Shooting Sports Foundation, and they did a mock audit. Lady's name is Judy from the NSSF, and she kind of did the same thing, but she was only here for a day, so she pulled out 2 months and kind of did the exact same thing. And I think we found one mistake in a type. So I think I clicked revolver instead of pistol, or pistol instead of revolver, something like that. Which again is just, it's a clerical error. And it was still in inventory. It wasn't sold yet. So we normally double check these things when we're then selling them too. We would have noticed it then. So I called Judy actually the day after, and I was like, hey, this is Josh from Lock N Load in Sellington, Connecticut. You came out for an audit back in April. And she remembered me. And I was like, just to let you know, the ATF was just here. They finished up their audit and perfect score, no violations. So she was happy. I'm sure she'll pass that to her higher ups. And a thank you to the NSSF. While I pay for the membership, it is a membership program. That was a huge peace of mind back in April. My son was born in May, and just having the peace of mind of like a retired IOI, I think she was an ATF IOI for 25 years, coming in, doing an audit and saying like, I think she gave us like an A or an A plus. Gave me that peace of mind, like, okay, we're on the right track, we're doing everything. And then we fixed 1 or 2 things that she suggested, and here we are. So it was a really cool an interesting experience. Some other stores definitely did not have good experiences or don't have good experiences with the ATF audits, and I guess I get that. Both of the agents that came here, super nice and super friendly. I met the girl once before when she was brand new, and I met the guy one other time briefly when we did an ATF SLFU seminar about last year, back in 2024. Sean and I did a podcast on that episode when they had like a seminar together, and he was there as well. And so, but briefly met him, and it was a really good experience. I'm in a Facebook group with some FFLs around the nation, and I hear really good stories, and then I hear horror stories. And I truly think, there may be not some great IOIs out there, just like in any industry, right? There's, not great people, but if you have the right procedures in place and the right methods in place, then you're setting yourself up for success. And if you don't, then you're going to run into issues. I've used an electronic system since day one. I've used an electronic 4473 system since day one. And I'm going to continue, obviously. They had no complaints about the system at all. So that's a win. And I have no complaints about my system. I don't think there's anything that can pull me away from GunstoreMaster at this point. I'm a very much person that's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And GunstoreMaster ain't broke. So I'm not changing anytime soon. And I really, truly enjoy the system and the way it works. And obviously it works in a really good way. So, but I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to share about my ATF audit experience because that was the first time. I never had it happen before. And so now it's done for hopefully a while. I mean, they can certainly come back whenever they want. There's nothing to hide here. So come on back. But it was an experience, and it is part of the industry. I am definitely more thankful it happened under a Trump ATF than a Biden ATF. That is definitely just in general. And again, no violation. So still a sigh of relief in both ways here. I don't know. Does the presidency, did it have a super effect on the audit process? We will find out towards the end of the year or next year when we see the statistics across the nation. We're not talking just Connecticut here. We're talking ATF statistics across the nation, see what the revocations are, and see how many audits were completed and all that stuff too. That was my experience for you guys. If you have questions on that process, drop them below. If you're watching this on YouTube and you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Like, subscribe. Hello? It's a button right there. And then there's like a little bell that pops up next to it. You probably should click that too. And then there's like a thumbs up somewhere. You probably should do that too, guys. Half of you that watch this are not subscribed. I see the analytics, guys. You can't hide from me. So subscribe. Make my day. I appreciate it, guys. We hit 1,000 subscribers, actually about 1,100 at the time of this filming. So thank you very much for that. We're almost at 1,000 followers on TikTok too. If you didn't know, we do have a TikTok. That is where we post a ton of clips, guys. We post them on YouTube as well, on Facebook and Instagram, just like we post our videos as well. But if you like if you have a short attention span and you don't want to watch all of our videos, watch the little clips we post. I don't know. I like them too. So my name's Josh. If you guys have any questions, comment below and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye. Lock N Load Podcast is sponsored by Lock N Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock N Load Firearms.
Lock N Load Podcast is also sponsored by Patriot Wear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code LNL Podcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.